So it's been some time since this has happened, but Stephen A versus LeBron James has finally reached its boiling point. And then today, we're going to break it all down. You listen to Jim Dropper Sports. Let's get it. So as we all know, LeBron and Stephen A, their clashing finally reached its boiling point at the Lakers versus Knicks game not too long ago. LeBron James went up to Stephen A and told him, quote, "Stop effing with my son." This prompted Stephen A to then go on Gilbert's Arena and call the move weak. And if you don't know where this stemmed from Stephen A speaking out about Bronny James getting some early minutes against the Philadelphia 76ers in a game back in around late January. JJ Redick had decided to give Bronny James some early minutes. That turned out to be one of the worst decisions he could have made, where Bronny James got put in a torture chamber by Tyrese Maxey. Young rookie learning moment. Nothing that's any different than any other rookie that we've seen. That's your welcome to the NBA moment right there, right? So after that, Stephen A goes on air and proceeds to plead to LeBron to, quote, "Stop this. Stop pushing Bronny to be an NBA player when he's not ready. Stop trying to make this something that is not." And a part of me can understand where Stephen A is coming from, because I think anybody that's been watching the whole LeBron and Bronny saga, it does feel a bit contrived in the sense that these feel like manufactured moments. Like opening night was a manufactured moment. The game against the Sixers was a I won't say it feels like a manufactured moment, because I don't think anybody believed that Bronny was ready for that stage just yet. Now, since then, he's gone on to play well in the G League. I know many people won't care about what he's done, but he's averaging over 20 points. His team is playing well. He's playing with a lot more aggression, getting to his spots, getting his shot. Like a lot, he's playing more aggressive in the G League than he ever played at Sierra Canyon. That's the biggest. Like that's what's been so amazing about watching Bronny in the G. But we won't be on that very long. So this culminated into the meetup at the Lakers and Knicks game. And then the following game against the Boston Celtics for the Lakers, Richard Jefferson was on the call for that game, and shout out to Legends for this, doing the lip reading. They do a fantastic job. But LeBron essentially confirmed that this wasn't really about Bronny. It was more so the fact that you were pleading to me as a father about my son, as if what happened was so wrong and was just so egregious that, I'm a bad parent because of it. I'm a bad parent for putting my child in a position. And that's the kind of the part where I think everybody's got to step back. Like, I'm calling this man a bad father for putting his child in a position in his desired career field. Now, I know one can say this is sports. Sports is different than any other profession. You're supposed to earn your way to these spots. Well, reality is that isn't what happens a lot of times. And two, since then, Bronny's only gotten garbage time minutes. It's not as if they've been pushing Bronny to get real starter minutes. Bronny's been getting end of the bench minutes like every other guy that's been drafted around his area, and some guys have been drafted above him. So I don't think I haven't had a problem with anything that they've done with Bronny since that Philadelphia 76ers game. But the issue here is Stephen A proceeding to call said move weak. And this is where Stephen A and his ego come into play, right? Because Stephen A is the $100 million man. He is the guy. He's the guy with the biggest voice and the biggest platform in sports on a daily basis. And to call a move weak where they addressed you in person, when you've also been on record of blasting Clutch Sports and LeBron's team for supposedly reaching out to you privately, I just gotta ask, like, what? Like, you can't. I hate this part of the media where the people who have the voices try to control every single bit of how interaction is supposed to go. You don't get to control the interaction anymore once you plead to somebody as a father. Calling somebody out as a parent does not mean you get to control the interaction that you guys have. Why would there need to be a private conversation? You said that publicly. Public statements deserve public resolutions. What is there to talk about privately when we've already attempted to talk to you privately and you're going to go out on the air anyway? And this is kind of my issue with guys that are supposed to carry this journalistic integrity. And everybody's a social media star now. Because see, what Stephen A did to me reeks of a social media guy. It reeks of like how like streamers are and influencers are. That isn't somebody to me that carries journalistic integrity to go on air and then proceed to call said move weak. And that's fine. Everybody can have their voice. And this is the era where everybody has a say and everybody has a voice. But when you didn't say that I wasn't going to speak about it until it went viral. And that to me speaks to your integrity as an individual. Because it's only because everybody started to talk about it that you feel the need to now speak about it. If you felt it was that important enough to not say anything and let it be, then let it be. But then, he said that he got a call from his bosses once it started to pick up steam, that hey, you got to talk about it. And I'm gonna be honest, man, I'm just not buying it. I'm just not buying it. I understand we all got a boss we got to answer to, and we all got things that we have to adhere to. I don't think this is one of them. I think that Stephen A. Smith being the most, he has changed the game in terms of what you can do within media, in terms of how you make your living. The guy that ESPN and Walt Disney is paying $100 million, I don't believe he has to speak about that. And you will not get me to believe it. Do I believe they asked? Yes. Do I believe he had to? Absolutely not. I will not buy that in the slightest. For LeBron and company moving forward, look, I don't think anybody's upset that Bronny James is being critiqued as a player, because nobody's above critique. That's the one thing I want to make sure is put out throughout the course of this video, is that nobody is above critique. Keep the critique about basketball. And that's where a lot of the issue has been. You look at my previous videos about the current NBA media, it stops being about the game. We're not talking as if we're trying to push the game forward. We're talking as if we're TMZ. That was a TMZ-like statement that Stephen A. made. This was a TMZ-like moment that it proceeded to be, even with LeBron addressing Stephen A. at the game and Stephen A. going to then address the address, in the coming days. Keep it about basketball. I don't think anybody has a problem with the fact that Bronny isn't a great NBA player right now. Nobody can contest that. Nobody will tell you that you're wrong. I think we're all going to nod and agree and move on. But as the 55th pick, I don't think he's been any worse than anybody else I can remember at that spot. And we can't even remember anybody at that spot. We're only talking about it because it's LeBron James' son. And for those that will say, well, LeBron put the target on his back by making that tweet he made about Bronny being better than current NBA players. I don't know, man. I think maybe we should have, there's a level of nuance with certain things where I'm like LeVar Ball also said Lonzo was better than Steph Curry. Did we believe it? No. Should we continue to use that as a critique of the player? No, he didn't say it. The dad said it. We're critiquing a parent for thinking their child is greater than what they are, which has happened at every level of sports since the dawn of time. I just don't understand why we are trying to make this a real critique of the actual player itself. And even LeBron doing that, that's totally separate of the player. And that isn't basketball. That isn't analysis. That isn't anything. That is that statement by LeBron means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of it all. That is a parent thinking the best of their child. What else are they supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? You can say nothing. You can be like Melo and say nothing. You can be like Gilbert Arenas and say nothing, or you can say something. But I think it's up to the people that are in the media to decipher, hey, what is real and what is not. And to me, I think we're stewards of the people. I think for the people that don't quite get everything that happens and every statement that comes out, we're supposed to be here to put it in its proper place, in its proper context. And when I see people that are in a position not do that, that's a problem. That's a problem. When I see Stephen A. now going on a media tour after this incident, it reeks of a clout chaser. And Stephen A. doesn't need any of this. He doesn't need clout. He is the clout that comes with sports media. He is the guy. But when I see you go on Fox News, and why are you discussing this with what's the guy's name on Fox News? Why are you discussing this on Fox News? A network, mind you, that has been well known for telling NBA players to shut up and dribble. This is the place you feel the need to go express your disdain for what happened between you and LeBron. That's the place, right? Because that's where it needs to be done, right? Very real behavior by some of the guys that I think are supposed to help tell the story of the game. And just a weird interaction overall. Overall, my point is, I have no problem with what LeBron did. I have no problem. I have a lot of problems with Stephen A. and how he's done it, as if you can see in my previous videos. But with that being said, I just wanted to give my take on it. This has been Jump Dropper Sports. I'm your host, Shanti Stewart, and we out.